right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Oh, yes, we do. Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 412-575-2600. That's the number of the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Hit us up on Twitter at KDPomp, at Chris Mueller, PGH. Chris joins us up at 93.7 The Fan, where they conducted the PM show today from 2 to 6. And I'm sure you talked about Pitt, what you might expect. But, man, Pitt has gone to the Smith Center now 3 straight years, Chris, and won each of these times. What a collection of transfers Jeff Capel has put together, and then to get them to gel the way they have, they're now 9-3 in the ACC following a 65-64 win. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think you've got a couple of things that have combined here at Pitt to make a nice little symphony, nice, beautiful music. You've got experienced guys. These are grown dudes. These aren't 18, 19-year-olds. These are older guys, and I think they've all got opportunity, and I think they all embrace that. I think Jeff Capel deserves a lot of credit for not getting impatient early in the season. Remember, they were supposed to have John Hughley with this group, but he just hasn't been able to get back into proper game shape, really. So he was supposed to be somebody that gave them a huge inside presence, but they've adapted on the fly. Again, to Capel's credit, they run and gun. They can all score pretty much. Maybe Federico, when he's out there, isn't much of a scorer, but he does a lot of other things very well for them. And they have a bunch of players, Bob, who aren't afraid to take the last shot. I thought this game was, for example, Nelly Cummings was getting into it with the fans, with opposing players. Then when they needed him to, he had a little 9-0 run by himself when they were in the danger zone. And then Pitt just, I thought, really handled themselves well down the stretch. They never blinked. That's been a theme. They lost to Florida State a couple games ago. They've ripped off 3 very important wins. And, Bob, there's no reason now. This is probably a quad 1 win because it happens on the road.
Yeah.
There's no reason now to expect this team to do anything but make the NCAA tournament. They run out the string here and win all these games against bad teams, maybe sneak another win past Miami. Suddenly you're moving down towards that 6-7 range potentially.
Yeah, they have Louisville next week, and they've been terrible, and Pitt beat them earlier this year, so they get some time off. And then next Tuesday night, that game here in Pittsburgh. But, you know, as far as Pitt, I agree with you. First of all, they're doing things that we normally are not used to seeing. That is, make a lot of clutch free throws. Jamarius Burton was 6 for 6, including the final 2 that won the game. Outside shooting, which you normally don't expect them to do on a consistent basis. You're right. These guys, they may be the oldest team in the ACC, but so what? The transfer portal is set up to do this kind of thing. And I also thought some really good help defense down the line when they took care of Armando Bacot. He was kind of trapped. He forced him into a travel situation, and that set up the game-winning 2 foul shots. So they did all the things right that you expect in those tense situations.
I'd also like to give the ACC network not a shout out. What would this be? Sorry, try again next time. Those guys are all pros down there, don't get me wrong, but I bet you'd agree with me on this. There is a certain bias towards the traditional ACC teams and not the teams that have come in as part of conference realignment. They were borderline openly cheering for North Carolina to find a way to win that game. Burton gets fouled with 3 seconds left. It's basically the game, and they're acting like there's 6 minutes gone in the first half, and he's just going to the line to shoot a pair. It's very odd to watch a game and feel like the announcing is that one-sided. I thought that was a funny little note in that game, but you're right. They play good defense. You know what they have the look of in many ways? Just a very well-coached team. I think they let their emotions kind of fuel their play tonight, Bob, but they didn't ever let them completely take over and kind of push them in a bad direction and affect their game negatively. I thought Capel did a good job of managing Burton when he was getting fired up. It's a shocking, pleasant surprise, out of nowhere sort of gelling of this team, and it's going to likely save Jeff Capel's job.
It'll likely be the ACC Coach of the Year. They were predicted to be 14th preseason. Right. All of a sudden, they're challenging.
I shouldn't even say likely save his job. It's going to save his job. It's not likely going to save his job. It already did.
The other thing, we'll show you those highlights at 11. The other thing is Penn State tonight was on the road at Purdue, and Purdue came away with a 20-point win. They're really good. And even when Zach Edey's not a factor, and I say that knowing that he was still a guy who produced 18 points, 13 rebounds, but because all the focus is on him, Mason Gillis went nuts from the outside. Purdue's a really good team, and they have a lot of things to worry about if you play them in an NCAA tournament. We'll talk about this, get your opinions. Also, Tom Brady. Is it happening? Is he going to walk away for good and end up in that broadcast booth? We'll get into that. And your phone calls, as I said, at 412-575-2600. We're back with those right after this. You're watching the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Nightly, right here on Pittsburgh CW and 93.7 The Fan.